Hello guys, we're live today for a session talking about carnivore diets, beef, the beef that I currently have, and also answer a few questions that I had about food labeling regarding beef, food legislation, the UK, around the world, and how it differs. So the first question I've actually got today is from Samuel. He's a coaching client of mine. For coaching inquiries, just go through the link above, compositionconsultant.com. And look through my website and also testimonials, and got a few nice ebooks on offer as well. Currently £9.99, which is like $12 for a Carnival bodybuilding beef up ebook. I highly recommend looking into it. It's about 170 pages long. It's pretty much my life's work when it comes to bodybuilding on a carnivore diet. We worked alongside Jerome Armstrong to formulate all the information, and it's very, very scientifically sound. Anyway, to answer the question, so why does lean ground beef 90/10 nutrition macro breakdown differ on various package labels? That's a good question. So when you guys are nutrition tracking, you're looking at your food labels on the supermarket shelves. You're looking at MyFitnessPal, perhaps Carb Manager, Keto Diet Manager thing, I don't know, and Chronometer, things like that. That's my preference, just because it is the most accurate by a lot. I've compared and contrasted them with clients and worked with lots of people to find that one out. But yeah, I do recommend the Chronometer one. I don't have an affiliate link. That just tells you how good I think it is. It has some things to iron out, but I think it's a very worthwhile way to track nutrition. Now I get into the question. So you'll get to the shop and you'll see on the shelf a packet of ground beef, say 500 grams, half a kilo, for anyone that doesn't know what 500 grams is. Anyway, what we're talking about here is when you look at the label on it, on the back, it will say typically per 100 grams, for example. Then it might say at the bottom, asterisk, raw weight, asterisk, cooked. What we know is we lose about 20 to 25% of the moisture content from meat when we cook it. So you want to be careful with that one. So that's the first kind of thing I want people to look at. Now, the second thing, what you'll notice is they allow a deviation of what is actually on the label. So, for example, you might find 10% lean ground beef. So that means 10% of the composition of that 100 grams is fat. And what you'll find there is they actually allow a 20% margin of error either way. So they can actually say on the packet, it is this. Then it could be, 16, sorry, it could be 6% fat, or it could be 14% fat, if that's what 20% is either way. So you're looking at a massive widespread variance here, and this kind of is a bit tricky. So this is why it's important if you buy your food from certain stores, Walmart, I don't know, you look at a label in the restaurant, in IHOP, go to Wendy's, you look at the ground beef, whatever it is, the minced beef patties. You look carefully at the fat percentage, but you also try to keep it consistent. So that's where using the right food label is important. So if I'm talking about food labels here, I'm talking about, a typical butcher's ground beef over here is about 85%, maybe 90% lean in terms of what you get from the butcher. Over time, you're getting it from the same people. They're cutting up the same cow guys. They're not going to have fat cows and skinny cows. It's not economic for them. It doesn't provide the most yield. So they've worked out, okay, we need to get this from this, and this is how much carcass we get, this is how much meat, this is how much fat, it's how much skin we get from an animal. It's how much renders off, all that sort of stuff. So you're going to be pretty well served by getting the same meat from the same source. Now, the other thing, which is perhaps a slip that people will notice, or at least they seem to have sometimes, is that they'll actually spend all this time looking at food labels, but then they'll cook their ground beef in a pan, air fry it, a burger patty in the in the oven, something like that. Then they'll leave all the fat dripping at the bottom of the pan. And I'll say, oh, I'm getting very lean very fast, but they might notice that they'll be having 90% lean ground beef one day, or say for a week or two, or 95%, and they don't notice any kind of fat loss drop. The thing is, all the fat is coming off the 90% one, so that additional 5%, and therefore they're just stuck with a 5% fat ground beef where nothing much renders off anyway. So probably a bit cheaper to get the fatty cut of meat, yeah, but it's going to be hard to measure if you don't eat everything that comes out in the pan. So one way around that is to have a drip tray. What you do with the drip tray, or from the rendered fat that comes off the beef mince that you eat, is perhaps you pour it back in the bowl or on the plate when you've been eating it. Some people actually make a broth from it, so they might make a meat stew broth thing with like bones and things and chicken carcasses, anything like that, duck legs, you know, whatever you want to put in it. A bit of salt, a bit of pepper maybe, if you like it. And then, yeah, so they'll just make a broth from it and they'll just scoop out the fat. So that's one way of ingesting the fat still. But bear in mind it is rendered, so some people may have issues with that if they're looking at that kind of side of things. The other thing, as I mentioned kind of earlier, you may notice that your cooking times may also change the amount of fat that comes off the beef, which is annoying because sometimes you might put it higher up in the oven, lower down, different temperature. Maybe you left the pan on sizzling, boiling hot for a period of time and you just didn't realize, therefore the surface temperature, the heat was higher, therefore the rendering process began sooner. So that's why the various labels that you might see in nutrition packages regarding ground beef might be altered, and some ways to get around it so you can improve your carnivore diet results. Now I'm going to go on to the next question. Bear in mind, guys, I'll be here for a maximum of 30 minutes. That's about as long as I can sit without my spine going straight through the back of this chair. I'm in enormous pain and these are painful to do. I did have a hip procedure last week on Tuesday, so I'm about 6 days post-procedure. I've got permanently numb legs, although I can walk, stuff like that. It is very sore. It is incredibly sore. I'm not looking for advice at all. Just see how it goes. Don't worry about me. Don't inquire about me. Let me get on with it and see if I get the result or not. And hopefully within the next week or so, the inflammation will settle and I'll know what's going on with my body from there. Now, the next question. So how would you do with rendered fat, and how has your capacity to handle it since changing to the carnivore diet over the last 4.5 years? Now, that's a really good question as well. I deal with it fine, and I actually just recommend people taper up the fat intake as they go along. Now, some people have a poorly functioning gallbladder, poorly functioning liver, and they work in concert to produce bile acids to break down fat and also other nutrients, you know, to provide nutrition for your body, essentially. Now, what I've noticed myself is very few people actually struggle with rendered fat. It usually becomes evident in that they've got constipation or diarrhea or some kind of ill symptom because they've changed their diet overnight. Now, if you go from having, say, ground beef, we mentioned earlier, it's an easy example. If you go from having, you know, ground beef, 90% lean, not much fat, then all of a sudden, one day, I'm going to go and have 20% because it's on offer. I'm getting it for half the price per pound. Great news. All you have to do there is mix out, for example, the 20% fat beef, mix out the 5% beef. So you've got a 5% and a 20%, mix them up together to make a patty, a burger, mince, whatever you want. Then that kind of evens out a bit so you don't have as much fat per volume, per gram, per dense unit of the animal itself. So therefore, when you actually have your, say, I don't know, 8-ounce serving of ribeye meat, whatever it is, cut up and diced into, or minced up sort of thing, into beef tartare, some people like that, then you'll actually be having a more appropriate level of fat for your stage at time and phase and stage of time in your carnivore journey. So basically what that means is you're not having as much fat, but you've got a way to titrate up the fat and go from, you know, lower fat carnivore to higher fat carnivore, or vice versa. People tend to get loose stools if they eat too much fat. People tend to get firmer, you know, stools, you know, some constipation if they have high protein in relation to the fat. So that's something that I'd certainly be looking out for if you're wondering about that. What I would also say is if it's relevant to you, I'd look at getting different liver scans, ultrasound tests of your gallbladder as well, just to make sure there's no impairment or function of your organs in that. Some people may notice that they go from a standard Western diet, they're eating, say, 50 grams of protein a day and, you know, maybe 100 grams of fat. Well, they've been doing low fat for a while. Maybe they come off a vegan diet. They've been doing 30 grams of fat per day, God forbid. then they all of a sudden they eat, 1-to-1 protein to fat, the 65% to 35% protein in terms of fat to protein ratios or percentages people talk about. And now notice that, oh, I'm getting loose stools, I feel sick, I feel nauseous. Some people do have that, and some people just need to titrate up. It comes down to understanding that your body has tightly regulated internal systems to adjust itself, to put itself in the best position to execute its biological blueprint, which is to survive, thrive, conquer. And the problem is, of course, when you take your body from point A to point B without going for the middle bit, making the right steps, the right adjustments physically, you can get gut microbiome disturbance, and that can impair your ability to maximize or effectively get out appropriate enzymatic reactions through your stomach and enteric system. So that's my take on rendered fat, how to deal with it over time. And of course, just split your meals up just very slightly. If you're eating 2 meals per day, move it to 2.5 or 3. I don't really say half meals for most people, but some people do have smaller meals. So there we go. We have 2 questions answered on rendered fat and ground beef. Now, the next question. What are the risks of a sedentary lifestyle? I follow Bart's other 4 health hacks, but I really don't enjoy exercise. So for these that you don't know, Bart's health hacks are carnivore diet, cereal products to release stem cells. One of them is called Stem Enhance. The other ones are light exposure, appropriate light exposure that is. The other one is grounding, which has a seemingly impressive effect on reducing cardiovascular incidence. I don't have the percentage or number to hand, but I believe it's something between 15 and 20%. So the way you get around doing that, obviously, is just grounding yourself to the earth, being outside more, eating a carnivore diet, buying the cereal product if you want to. Check out Bart's, pages for all that sort of stuff. I don't personally sell it. I'll let him make all the money. Yeah, I'm just joking, guys. But yeah, you can see what I mean here. So it's 4 different health hacks, but there's actually technically 5. So one of them, of course, is the appropriate training, resistance training, exercise, activity, whatever you want to call it. So it could be, depending who you are. If you're an elderly lady with, you weigh 25 stone, you're 300 pounds plus, I don't know. Going for a walk is going to be strenuous for you. Now I'd suggest building up to things. So it doesn't mean you do the hardest thing straight away. Again, like diet, you phase things in, phase things out. If you can try something, I recommend trying it for at least 2 or 3 weeks at a time, depending on what it is, obviously. And if that intervention was effective, you'll know. The way you go about doing that is finding out, okay, you look at your body, maybe draw a gingerbread man, say, oh, we've got a headache, day 1, maybe every few days, 3 or 4 days, you sort of write a note next to it. Maybe you get chest pains when you cycle or walk or drive the car. Maybe you get a lot of lactic acid in your feet, something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is with your body that's messed up. You got brain fog, you got stomach aches after eating certain foods, or, when you see certain people that make you anxious, address each thing and see what works for you. That's certainly what I'd be looking at doing. So make sure what you're doing can be measured, and therefore it can be managed. Now, in terms of the other health hack, so he's kind of asking the gentleman, Alan, his name is, he's asking about exercise. Like, he doesn't exercise. He's probably sedentary. Maybe he works from home on a laptop. A lot of people do. And the way you get around doing that is just making more use of the other health hacks. And that will help to some degree mitigate some of the effects. Especially the carnivore diet being the first health hack, because that's going to be the ultimate determinant of your lean body mass, in terms of your muscle retention as you age, and also your body fat levels. Now, if you eat species-appropriate diet, largely speaking, nearly all people, not all, but nearly all people, will find after a period of time, perhaps 2 or 3 months, sometimes a bit longer. Again, these are broad guideline figures, guys. I can't give exact numbers out. If you do have any questions about exact specifics, book a consultation through me with the link above. And no, I don't charge $200 per hour like some people. One, my time isn't worth that, but 2, I also like speaking to you guys and finding out about you, my subscribers. I won't say followers because it sounds a bit cringe, but yeah, I do enjoy doing that as well. So feel free to use the consultation links above and below the video. So yeah, I'd say What you can do is, if you're sedentary but you're looking for something to do at home, I'd look at my ultimate body weight workout video. So it's like Carnivore diet, ultimate body weight workout. And it gives you 2 variations of each exercise that I'd perform if I was stuck in a hotel room doing a bodybuilding competition prep. And there was actually a guy called Samson Dowder, British bodybuilder, and I believe 3 or 4 years ago he was slaving his arse off, working really hard, and he's struggling to make his ends meet, and he is working as a bodybuilder, traveling around the world. And I think he went to Korea or something like that, where it's quite strict with the lockdowns and stuff. God forbid, not ideal situation to be in. He arrived there, no carnivore, diet at all. He's just a normal bloke. No meat when he got there. Barely any rice when he got there. He had some salt, a pot of salt they gave him, some sachets, bottles of water. That was about it. So he was living off some sort of steamed chicken that they gave him from the restaurant, not a lot. And he was doing his contest preparation phase for 2 weeks beforehand. He's running on the spot. He's finding ways around to do it. So he's doing push-ups, maybe against the bed. Maybe he's not used to it. Then maybe he does handstand push-ups. He's using towels to do like rows and things and all sorts. That's basically what my workout is built out of. So I'd recommend checking that one out. It's a very simple, easy to follow video, very clear instructions. So that came out about 9 months ago, and it is on my exercise playlist on my channel. But if you really don't want to exercise and it's not for you, don't do it. Don't do things you don't want to do, guys. Obviously, as long as it doesn't harm you, and also as long as it doesn't impair the lives of other people. So they're 2 of my rules. So you can do what you want in life, just don't harm yourself and don't harm others. Then the cream rises to the top. Evidently, people that work the hardest tend to get the most reward out of life. That's just the way it goes. That is capitalism, I guess. That is the hierarchy. But yeah, in terms of the risks, heart disease, diabetes, I mean, I'd say cardiovascular disease being the whole systemic system itself. Pulmonary disease of some sort. If you're trying to walk up a massive flight of stairs one day because you have to, and you can't because you're not fit enough, you'll run out of breath and fall down the stairs. Obvious things like that. Atherosclerotic plaque, things like that. So again, relate to heart disease. But yeah, the heart disease is the main one. Loss of bone density as well. So if you're not eating enough protein, that kind of goes alongside that one, then for sure a sedentary lifestyle will not be most beneficial to you. Now, this links to the next question I've got, which is from Hugo, who is a channel member. So I appreciate you joining as channel member. Apologies to the people that have asked questions, but I have not yet answered them. I've been away for 2 weeks because I've been resting, trying to get my hips and back and spine just sorted, because it is excruciating to sit here. I promise you guys, there's not much worse for me right now, but I'm trying to get through this as succinctly as possible and give you guys some value, because I appreciate you guys. A lot of you are channel members. So next one was about is professional bicycling is a weird word. Is professional cycling bad for heart health? Probably not. But you said professional cycling, so it's a bit different. I would say, largely speaking, if you're doing it in the aim of competing to a higher level, I'd say it can be or is likely harmful. Reason being, left ventricular hypertrophy. The moment you stop exercising, the pressure changes, and therefore at a higher risk of a heart attack. So the point is, your body revs at a certain rate, and say you have a week off. I'm being, sensationalistic here, but you kind of get the point. If you take your body from one fitness state to another, it doesn't like it. Your body cycles through things, and it gets into a rhythm. The way we interact with our environment around us, the food we eat, and also, our immediate environment as well, terrain, the air quality, the sleep we have, everything changes minute by minute. We're biologically a dynamic system. And if we start tampering with that too much, trying to do too much too soon, then yeah, we could get a heart attack, and it's very, very, very possible. So in that instance, I'd probably not recommend it to most people. But the thing about my channel is, guys, with my channel, you're not looking to do, at least I think, as the content creator, you're not looking to do this to become the best bodybuilder in the world. The chances are, if you're following the carnivore diet, you may have come here from a sick state like I did. In which case, I'd say, no, don't try and become a professional bodybuilder. it's the same kind of thing here, really, if I try to draw parallels. But if you're watching my channel, you want to learn how to build a bit of muscle, lose some fat in the most efficient way possible with the least amount of negative, deleterious health effects, I can show you how. You can look at my channel. I have put things into lots of playlists. I've made some really insightful, useful videos that I trim down and make as succinct as humanly possible, so you get exactly what you need as the viewer to reach my content and information. So that's my take on professional cycling. Ill-advised, but if you want to learn about doing it, I can tell you how. And I think that's a responsible means to go about this channel. Now the next question is also from Hugo. Please just ask one question, guys. It does say ask one question on my Q&A Google Drive document thing. What do you think about using machines instead of weights at the gym? Benefits, downsides? This has been covered on my channel before in quite a decent length video, so I'd recommend looking for that one. I don't know where it is. It'll be about a year ago, but yeah, I'd look at that. But generally speaking, I think that resistance machines are more effective for most people in that they're safer. You can train with them for a longer period of time, i.e. have more longevity. They reduce wear and tear on certain joints in most instances, but not all. I'd say they take out the balance aspect of it. Now, there's no need to learn functional movements, guys, unless your job or role or competitive sport is that movement. So that means you don't necessarily have to do a bench press because Arnold did it. Was Arnold a world record bench presser? No, there was no need for him to do it. He did it. Did it work? Yes. Would it work now if he still did it? Yeah. Would a hammer strength incline chest press work for him better? Maybe. He'd still be the best bodybuilder in the world. So these kind of things are like the narrow appeal to authority things, which are just reductionist, narrow-minded mindsets. Things can work and it can all work well. I know people that if they followed my training principles, they would get absolutely hammered. And I know of people, it'd just be not enough. They wouldn't feel like they did a workout just because there's not much fitness element to it. It's very much resistance training, hard, intense training. There's not an element of go, 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 go. You know, it's just hit it hard, rest, hit it hard. So my training is like that, down, long rest, up, down, you know. It's not 20-second rest between sets, nothing like that. The other thing is, I'd say you can really up the ante in terms of resistance training intensity if you're using resistance machines, in that it's safer, you'll catch your breath a bit quicker, less room for error, less margin for error, less stability needed, more isolation, which is more effective for bodybuilding purposes. Now I'm going to go somewhere else with this talk right now. So what some people will argue is that you can, how do I put it? You can train and build all the muscle you want with bench, squat, and deadlift. Well, I don't really know anyone that's done that. Every powerlifter and strongman I've ever met, and physique athlete, of course, has used a mixture of both or purely resistance machines. Now, if we go to the best bodybuilding gyms in the world, guys, this is my appeal to authority, I guess you could say, is the Dubai gym, Oxygen gym, Q8 gym, Beano's gym, Bev's Powerhouse gym. All of these gyms will have a typical bench, deadlift, squat setup that you can use. But look at the proportion of resistance machines to free weights. You'll see there's drastically more resistance machines, and that's what the pros use. People say, but Ronnie Coleman deadlifted 800 pounds. Yes, he did deadlift 800 pounds, and it's damn impressive. Oh, but Jay Cutler used to do low incline bench press, you know. Yeah, but he also, if you look at his workout, you know, each of these guys, 4 or 5 movements per body part. You know, leg extensions, leg press, hack squat, barbell squat. Maybe they did walking lunges. That's 5 exercises. 2 of them are using free weights. Now, if I was to knock one of those off, probably the lunges, personally, for me, stability, safety element, dodgy hips and spine, then it would be the free weight squat. So now I'm left with 3 resistance machine exercises. So do you see what I'm saying here, guys? As you get further through your bodybuilding journey, you realise the value of being able to train without injury. And most people I know that I consult with, client intake forms for coaching, You know, saw this, damaged this, broken this. This is surgically repaired. You know, it's nearly all the time. That's why if half your body is limited from movement, say your shoulder joint, well, it's going to be safer and more effective for me to prescribe you a resistance machine in a safe range of motion versus try to get you to do something too heavy, too fast with movement patterns that you're biologically not used to. Now, I don't see any instance in life that I live, at least, where I'm picking up a bar that's that thick and I'm going like that, then I'm going like that straight up and straight down 10 times, for example. It just doesn't happen. What does happen, though, is I might hold something, you know, for my stepdad, he's doing some work in the garden at the moment. Maybe I'll hold something like that just on my shoulder, you know, it might be unilateral. That will work my entire body, yeah. But outside of that, we're talking about a 10, 20-second effort here, guys. We're not talking about doing 10 reps in a fixed range of motion without a spotter. We're thinking of, if we're out in the real world, what are we doing? We're lifting things in such a way where you need to drop it or throw it in front of us or you know, drop it down if we don't want to lift it anymore because we can't, because it's not safe. The resistance training machines offer that same safety benefit. So that's why I'm more for resistance machines. Anyway, that covers the 4 questions that I did get through from people. What I'll do, guys, is I'll put the link below for next week, and it'll be a link to a Google Drive document titled CMR-Q-A. And on that, you'll see it says name, channel member, yes or no, obviously, and add your name, being your name or your channel member name. Then it will just say, you know, what's your question? 1 sentence. So a question might be, how much beef should someone eat on a carnivore diet, assuming they're the average female? Give a rough guideline. Okay, I can do that because it's a rough guideline. It's not so specific, and it's one simple question with 1 straightforward sentence. It can be answered. For those who don't know, I'd say it's about £1 for a lot of women. Just the average woman, £1 to £1.50 is about normal, assuming that's the majority of what they eat, maybe 18 to 90% plus. But that's my best guess, I think, at this point. We can be pedantic and talk semantics, but we don't need to. I'm going to get through the chat now. Hi, Beginner. Thank you for joining. Good evening to you. Hopefully your hip pain, your glute pain sorts itself out soon. I know exactly what you're going through. It feels like I'm being stabbed. It literally feels like I'm being stabbed, guys. So I don't like that very much. Hit the like button. Absolutely. Hi, Rick. Thank you for joining. Hello, my vegan friend just came over to harvest mangoes. You should charge them a picking fee. Definitely. Hi, Ben. Thank you for joining. Look forward to speaking to you soon. At some point, I think you've mentioned. Lunchtime. Hope everyone is doing well today. Not bad. Happy, just in pain. Lots and lots of pain. Hi, Jonathan, and everyone watching. Hello. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you being a member. Same goes for you, Tom. Tom, you're my longest serving member, so I thank you very much for joining. And I enjoyed our discussion the other day. I think we had a brief conversation about something. You had some really useful things to say there. So you asked a good question. But if something happened, I had a good interaction with you. I don't often say it about many people, but I do about my channel members and you, of course. So appreciate that. Hello, Mike. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you making it. I know it's an awkward time. This is a very good point, and that's why I cook in pots mostly. Yeah, because you can get all the fat out. So if I'm, for example, if I'm air frying, guys, if I'm air frying some 95% lean beef mince patties, I'll put them in the air fryer, but I'll leave the griddle thing out so just the fat slips through, because not much fat even comes off anyway. I've checked it. It's not really anything. It's virtually maybe half a gram per 400 grams or something daft. Now, if I'm cooking a 90% lean or 85% lean, what I'll do is I'll put a tin aluminium foil thing underneath it. I'll take it off once it's cooked it and pour it in to the bowl, plate, whatever I'm using afterwards, and that's what I do. It works really well. Go easy on the render fat, guys. Disaster pants are a thing. Yes. It took me until 380 grams of fat per day to realise that. Well, I knew it would happen, but I was just testing out how much fat someone could eat. And for me, guys, if you're wondering how much I can eat consistently over a prolonged period of time, being, i.e., more than a month or two, I managed, I believe it was 350 protein. No, sorry, I managed 250 protein per day and 380 grams of fat per day. The fat was very satiating and I started to feel nauseous. So that was my body telling me, you don't need more of this. I did it for a week extra. From that point, I noticed that. And yeah, it did happen. Yeah, I got exceptionally sore in the stomach area. But what I will say is, don't try these experiments, guys. I do a lot of these for you. I've done the meat, fruit, honey experiment. I've done the ultra low fat for a long period of time experiment. I've done the Greek yogurt, does dairy make you fat experiment. I've done all these things so you guys don't have to. And I'm not someone that's particularly well or super healthy in terms of my past medical history due to medical interventions that were probably not appropriate for me. Very contraindicated. But yeah, you can see what I'm saying here, guys. I'm trying to do these things so you guys don't have to. I'm trying to save you. Hero complex. I'm joking. I eat minced beef cold, so I eat all the rendered fat while I get into pants liquid. Yeah, that works. You can just put your beef fat back in the pan and just leave it. Cook it again with the next thing. Cook it with your fried eggs or something. If you eat those. Yeah, rendered fat doesn't really affect me. It's just when I go very high fat, that's when I have a problem. I tolerate butter very well. I can eat butter all day. So yeah. Only Lidl's grass-fed beef mince with shards of glass in it. And meat from the local butchers don't give my stomach issue. Yeah, I remember you saying. You told me this before. Fresh and local is always best, it seems. Yeah, I'm actually trying to procure some beef sausages from my local farm shop. Ashamed to say, guys, I've always said to you, oh, it's 4 or 5 minutes walk away. I measured it the other day, there and back. Each direction is about 9.5 minutes for me to walk. Or I've got even more crippled, so I'm even slower. So it's one or the other. But yes, it's literally down the lane from me. And they've said, yeah, we can make you some beef sausages. Just some, what you want, beef and salt. And I'm like, yeah, literally just beef, salt, and the casing, whatever that is. I don't want seasoning, flour, rusk, any of that stuff. So I've ordered, I think, 20 packets of it. My friend Andrew Scarborough will be coming on my birthday on Saturday. So I'll be 29 on Saturday, guys. If you want to, send me a nice card or something, or, good wishes. I do appreciate that. So my birthday is on Saturday. I'll be 29 years old. And, yeah, Andrew Scarborough is going to be coming. So I'm going to try and get him something clean that he can eat that won't trigger any migraines, head pains, or any kind of illness, because I don't want him being ill. No problem with lamb mince as long as the rendered fat has solidified. Absolutely. According to the mainstream narrative, fruit, i.e. avocados, for example, is so good, but meat is bad. Yeah. Yeah, I always say, guys, within a 30-mile radius of me, I can get beef, eggs, dairy, fish, chicken, poultry, that sort of thing. I can't get much else. I can get some berries, which I'm intolerant to. I can go to the local farm shop with food that is forced grown in pots and things. I don't see it as a valid argument for me. I think if I could tolerate all foods and I was healthy and I just ate off the land what was around me, I'd be eating about 7 or 8 different foods. And 95% plus of it would be animal foods, majority coming from beef, pork, probably pork, beef and pork, because there's pigs about 2 fields away. So yeah, always drink the leftover fats. Excellent. Yeah, people, we've been arguing this for decades, guys. The thing is, there's more resistance machines being made now than there are free weights. Obviously, you can't reinvent a barbell, but there's 1,000 different shoulder presses, 1,000 different bicep curls. That's because they do work, and each one has its own little unique kind of thing to it. Some equipment's bad, some equipment's good. Yeah, different brands. Some brands are overall good. Some brands are hit and miss. But yeah, there's lots of good stuff out there, and I think people don't realise when you go to a proper gym, guys, which has 10 of each piece of equipment. I've been to one like that myself in Swindon, called 24-hour gym, I think it's called. And that was incredible. Like 5 different bispec sizes. You literally just go from one to the other, just do some feed reps, just do a few reps. Oh, you don't feel it, I'll go to the next one. You can have incredible workouts, you have great fun. So I like that. Yeah, I do like to change the machines if I've got a choice, but only if I know I can do it for a set period of time, they call it like a mesocycle in bodybuilding. So you just do a certain type of something, whatever it is, then change it every so many weeks, like on a rota kind of thing. We were, Rick. Yeah, your birthday is, I can't remember what it was. I haven't written it down, to be honest, but you should let me know when or if it was already. But yeah, that's all we got time for today, guys. So I appreciate you joining. Hopefully the answers to your questions have been somewhat useful. I've sat here for as long as I can, but I can't bear it anymore. It's agonizing. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. And this was the Ultimate Carnivore Diet. All about beef, Q&A. compositionconsultant.com is my website. And if anyone was curious about anything I offer, I would check out this video right now. Check out my site at compositionconsultant.com, where your journey to peak performance and optimal health begins. With a degree in human nutrition and over 15 years of training experience, I've guided more than 400 carnivores to not just meet, but exceed their physique and performance goals. Through personalised consultations, comprehensive ebooks and dedicated coaching, I'm here to ensure your success. Join the ranks of those who have transformed their lives. It's time to align your physique goals with positive health outcomes. Visit compositionconsultant.com today and take the first step towards the best version of you. Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.